Hello guys, welcome back to the episode 4 of this series. So far we'll be talking about CSS, color, background, text and some other things we've talked about. But in this series, we are just coding our VS Code. We are not seeing our code on the browser. We are just seeing it displaying the features on the browser. So far as a developer, the ability to debug your code is very important. Most times you might be encounter an error on VS Code and we don't know where it's coming from, or probably we define a class here and it's not showing on the browser. So how are we going to do it? This word leads us to the browser dev tools. So what is the browser dev tool? It simply means the tools we use is simply the tools we use. Here we have here is the tools that we use to detect, to see our code, to debug our code, HTML, CSS code. So as we know that it is the browser that will render our code to the interface here. Let's see what we have in the browser now. To do that, just right click on the screen, scroll down to inspect, click on the inspect tools. So now we will be able to see this code here. On the right side, you see we have element, we have console, we have source, we have network, we have performance. But because of this tutorial, we are focused on HTML and CSS. We'll be focusing on this element. This is where we have the structures of our website. So let's assume we are dealing with some logic part. That's where we'll be focusing on this rest of the something. So now we can see that in the first part we have .html, what starts our HTML code. So this is our code so far. Now let's open the body tag. On the body tag now we can see that we have our center div, which is where it's containing our text. So let's open it now. Now we see our text here now. This is our text showing onto the browser. This is exactly what is in VS Code. It is properly dictated out. That's good. And if you can check the lower part of we can see something like style, compute, layout, event listener, DOM, properties, accessibilities. So on the style part now, we can see the only thing we have here, we have the center, which is the container of this is given in the center of this is the code rendering out. This is CSS code heading out. This center is the HTML tag. So you have the CSS code automatically from the browser, which is just this. That's why we are able to put the text in the center on the browser. So let's assume we remove that center here. We can edit it. So let's assume we resume the center, we change it to div. We change it to div here. So we come here to the ending part. If we change it to div, so now let's have it. So now can you see now it is not more on the center. If we view it now, can you see it's not more on the center. So on the browser we can write our codes, we can debug. If there's any problem for us, we can try to change it on the browser. That is the best way of code. But it's not more it's not good for us to always change code on the browser. We can just check what is happening on the browser, then go back to our VS Code to correct it. So now because it won't be permanent. Any code we change on the browser won't be permanent if you don't change it from our main. It won't be permanent. So let's see it back now. We are still having that main. So let me try to refresh my tab. So if I open back, you see the center is back. It's because we didn't change it on our VS Code. Our VS Code still remain center. That's why it automatically gets the code from the something and render it out. This is how to debug HTML code in Elements. And also there's also a way of debugging this style most of the times if we assign a style to our HTML, you always see it there, but automatically browser will always give some style to our HTML code, default styles. So by assigning our own custom style, we are trying to vary the custom style by the browsers. So let me do one of the example now. As we come here, open this, we click on this H1. We can see that on this H1 we can see some style that is default by the browser. Display, the font size is this. Let's try to override this. Let's try to override this font size. So come back to our code. We're having heading here. Okay, heading. So we come here in font size. Instead of giving it to which is on browser, let's try to override it to 4M. It's very big, but let's see the changes. Can you see now? Automatically the class is assigned to it and it cancel out default settings. So this is how to avoid it, to override the default settings in style. And also here, the one we assign to text, if you don't want it to take place yet, we can just come here or click it to go back to its normal positions, to go back to its default positions. This is how to change to debug our CSS and HTML code. And also in CSS we have some tools we use to, but in the next video we'll be talking about it deeply. So see you in the next video.